Hello, everyone. This is another episode of Fire Breathing Rob. Please like, subscribe, and also share our details and our videos, of course. We greatly appreciate the time and energy that you spend on watching and listening on the internet, the computer, whatever it may be. So thanks so much for that. We do interview amazing people that do many amazing things in this country and all around the world. And we have somebody that's on, that's a returning guest. This is his third time on. We bring him back because we love him. So I'm grateful to have Sankarshan back on. Thank you so much for coming back.
It's great to be here, Rob. Really great to be here.
Yes, we have a lot of leaders in Washington on both sides of the aisle, men and women too, that seem to not really have good religious philosophies. They, don't have really good intentions for the people in general. So with that being said, what is your take on the leadership in our country? And second of all, how can we make that leadership better?
Well, even though we have the motto, "In God We Trust," we're not really doing it anymore. It's a nice motto, but how much God should actually be the center. In other words, we didn't come out of nothing. There's actually a supreme person out there who's just like you have a father, and he has a father who has a father. You go back to the original father, and that's the supreme person. So we're actually meant to, since everything is his property and we're his children, we're actually meant to engage everything in his service. But the trouble is we, instead of putting God in the center, we put something else in the center. In Sanskrit, it's called Ishavasha, the God-centered conception. Ishavashamidam sarvam yatkinjab jagadam jagatena chaktena bunjita magda kusviddanam, this Vedic mantra. When you put God back in the center, then everything becomes the whole atmosphere becomes peaceful, prosperous, happy, etc. But we're trying to put ourselves in the center instead of God in the center. That's the problem.
Do you feel like that's really corrupted the country in general, money, power, pornography in general? And how do we get away from that? Do you have any ideas for that?
Absolutely. The thing is, we're enjoyers by nature, right? Our nature is we want to enjoy. But if we misidentify with our material bodies, then we're going to try to base our enjoyment on our tongues and our genitals, basically. But the trouble is, that's a mistake. We're not actually these bodies. We're spiritual beings. So our actual happiness is to reconnect with that supreme person. And the tongue and the genitals, that's just for eating and for procreation. It's not really, that's not meant to be the purpose of life, to satisfy your tongue and your genitals. We're actually meant to be living in a state of perfect harmony with that supreme person as the source of all existence. And that brings us so much bliss. The thing is, if you actually chant the names of God, whether you're a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, but we chant Hare Krishna mantra, for example. If you will chant the names of God with faith, you will taste so much pleasure that sex life is insignificant. We need to get back to chanting the names of God. That's what we need to do.
So how do we bring God back into this country?
The thing is, what we have right now is a perversion of religion. We don't really have real religion going on. It's a perversion of religion.
I agree with
name religion, they exploit, and they even, they even kill people in the name of religion. This is not true religion. We can call this religiosity, perhaps, but real religion means to reconnect with that supreme person as the source of all existence in a pure loving relationship. And when you do that, you naturally have pure loving feelings for all of his energy, all living beings. So that's not religion. What's going on in the name religion is not really religion.
When you talk,
the Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill," and I remember we go to church every Wednesday night. We'd have all these potluck dinners with all this meat, and all animals that were killed. And the Bible says, "Thou shalt not kill." So why are we eating animals that were killed? It's hypocrisy. The thing is, it's a perversion of religion in this age. It's not true religion going on in the world.
Right.
Religion actually is the science of God. It's a universal. Religion is actually universal. It's not the sectarian thing. That's not religion.
Yeah.
There's one supreme person, and we're all his children. When you divide it into this sect and that sect, you finally that's not religion. You're masquerading. That's irreligion masquerading as religion. Real religion means to reconnect in pure love with the supreme person as the source of all existence and with all living entities. That's true religion. There aren't traditional systems of offering devotion to God, and we don't have to throw the kneeling down, bowing down to God. That's not wrong.
Okay.
There are traditional systems of meditating in the holy names of God, bowing down to God. There are traditional systems that are bona fide. But those, you have to combine that along with practical, compassionate dealings for all living beings.
Right. Thank you for explaining that, Sankarshan. Yeah, I'm Fire Breathing Rob. I want to talk about this. We see America and a lot of the world is meat eaters, and we just spoke a little bit about killing animals. So how should we get off meat?
Think of the karma.
Yeah,
You realize
right.
that when you have an animal, and you pay someone to kill an animal for your tongue, you're an accomplice to that murder. And the karma is in your future life, you will become an animal like that, and you will be killed by the animal that you killed. You see, that's karma. If I pay someone to kill a cow so I can have a hamburger in the future, I'm going to become a cow and I'm going to become a hamburger in the future life.
It's also bad for the environment too. We could go into that. That's another story for another day of how bad, killing all these animals and all the pollution in the air is killing the animals and killing the insects.
156 million every day. 156 million innocent animals are unnecessarily killed every day. And the karmic reaction to that is coronavirus, wars, epidemic, drought, hurricanes, tornadoes, you name it.
Agree. And that's really happened. Coronavirus, and there's a lot of tornadoes and natural disasters going on at the same time. It's really scary right now. Should they wean into not eating meat? When you stopped eating meat, did you go cold turkey and just not eat any of it? How do you do that?
Cold turkey. Actually, our system is very simple. And the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Patram pushpam padam tayam yo me bhakti prayachyati tadahang bhakvrita visham visnami prayatatmanaha. If one will offer me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, food, or water, I will accept it. So what we do in the Hare Krishna movement is we offer all of our food to God before we eat. In other words, just like when I was a Christian, and maybe you did as a Catholic, the Holy Sacrament, right?
Right, yeah.
Every meal we have is a Holy Sacrament. Just like I cooked the breakfast this morning, and then we put it in a special plate. We put it on the altar, and we bow down and offer to God. You see, so in the Hare Krishna movement, everything we eat is sacramental food. So when you do that, it's easy to immediately give up meat because that food has great spiritual power and potency when you offer it to God with love and devotion.
It's given to you by God. That's what you're basically saying.
God has given us the food. Now we give it back to Him, and then after we offer to Him, we take the remnants of the offering. And such eating will get you high. Actually, you get high on the food. Who needs marijuana when you can get high on an apple?
Right. Let me ask you this, Sankarshan. So what do you have like for food now without meat? Because I know a lot of people that will listen to this, they are meat eaters. And like, I can't eat that crap and this and that and stuff. Is it mostly plant-based stuff like that? Or what do you have?
Our diet is very nice. We have rice. We have a type of bean called dal. We have a nice bread called chapatis. We use butter. We use dairy products, but not, the idea is you have non-violent dairies where the cows are protected. But we have rice. We have beans. We have vegetables. We have salad. We have the nice kind of bread called chapatis, and that's the kind of lunch we have.
Because I just was with a friend and she was talking about, and we talked about this, I think, on the first conversation we had about stress and anxiety and all that stuff like this. And she does a lot of self-help stuff. And she was talking about listening to different kind of music, Mozart, Beethoven, that kind of music. And it made her just get more relaxed and it was in some sort of 40, I forgot how it's like a musical note, 40 or something. Have you heard any of that? Or what do you believe? Anything?
Well, that's more elevated than, some more grotesque forms of music. But the actual perfection of music is devotional music. Just like we chant Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we have drums, boom, boom, boom. We have kartals. We have a very, very nice music, very nice music. And it's the names of God. That's the perfection of music.
Okay.
And Mozart and Beethoven, maybe more elevated than modern day stuff. But the perfection of music is to chant the holy names of God. That's
Now, where does the music come from, Sankarshan?
Well, we take traditional mantras from India, especially the Hare Krishna mantra.
Okay.
We have hundreds of melodies for Hare Krishna. In our movement, we have hundreds of melodies for Hare Krishna. And plus, we have many traditional songs by great saints in the past who've written songs in beautiful Bengali language and Hindi language they've written. And so I'm also a songwriter previously. So I write sometimes songs that present our philosophy. Like I got one called Turn On Your Soul. Do you know who you really are? And I do it with a guitar. I could even play it for you if you want me to.
Yeah, why not?
Do you know who you really are? Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know for sure where you're going? Or what you will become? You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. Do you know what happens when you die? Do you know what's beyond the sky? Do you think that body is you? Is this something that you're passing through? You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. We're told that everything happens by chance, that the universe has no person in control. But I see that every machine has got an operator. So the universe also has one that I know. Do you know who you really are? Do you know where you're coming from? Do you know for sure where you're going? Or what you will become? You're eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. So remember and celebrate this. You're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul. Yeah, you're not of this world, dear friend. Better tune in and turn on your soul.
Yeah, that was good. That was real good. I could listen to that. President Obama said something about your music. Yeah, now what is that about?
I wrote a song called The Peace Formula based on the Bhagavad Gita, and he loved the song. He wrote me a nice letter about it. I have a letter with his signature on it, a letterhead from the U.S., from the White House,
Right.
the President of the United States. A very nice letter from the U.S. President appreciating my song, The Peace Formula.
What have you been doing through this stay-at-home quarantine time?
Well, we do our normal worship every day. I have my e-course. I have tens of thousands of people on my e-course. People can sign up at joincourse.com. I'm keeping up all my correspondence. I got thousands of people all over the world on my course. I'm answering letters every day. We have lectures every morning. You go to livelectures.net at 7:15 a.m. Central Time every morning. It's a live lecture. You can ask questions. Livelectures.net every morning at 7:15 to 8:15 a.m. U.S. Central Time. People are invited to come and join us.
How are you giving them hope during this tough time?
Well, we're teaching people how to turn on their lost loving relationship with God. And when you do that, the whole material world just becomes like a piece of cake. It's not even an issue anymore. It's a non-issue. Once you actually connect with God, because we're in the world of dualities. It's described in the Gita. Matra spashashtakonteya shitoshna sukadukada agamapayano nashtangshishtakshtabharata. Krishna says, the non-permanent appearance of happiness and distress and their disappearance in due course are like the appearance and disappearance of the winter and summer seasons one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. So this is natural. We're going to have good times and bad times, good weather, bad weather, healthy times, sick times, economic boom, economic recession. That's natural. So for one who actually reconnects, awakens their Krishna consciousness or their God consciousness, they become transcendental of the whole thing.
Do you feel like people that are following you are more, relaxed?
They're more peaceful and happy. Yeah, that's right. Definitely. One who becomes Krishna conscious, he becomes transcendental to the ups and downs of material existence. His happiness is in his loving relationship with Krishna or God. Right. And if one simply will chant this mantra every day, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, one can actually revive one's feelings of love for that Supreme Person as the source of all existence, and actually reach the point where one can actually see him face to face, eye to eye. It's mystical.
Lastly, before we end the interview, for people that haven't seen you on this program before and haven't heard you on the radio before, what would you tell them, as last words before we end the interview, of how this movement can really help them, not just through this tough time, but through life in general? Because, there are people that are listening that, have lost hope, that are stressed out, depressed, anxiety, whatever it may be.
We've been caught up since time immemorial in the cycle of birth and death through 8,400,000 species. Right now, we're in the those of us who are humans, we have a very special opportunity to get out of the cycle of birth and death. The animals can't do it. The plants, you see, we actually rotate through all these different species. Sometimes we're plants, sometimes we're animals, sometimes we're fish, sometimes we're birds. So it's a natural transmigration of the soul through all the different species. Right now, we're in the human form, which is the ideal form, because in this form, you can get liberated from the cycle of birth and death. That's why it's stated in the Vedic wisdom, Tato Brahma Jigyasa. Now you have a human form. You must utilize it to realize the absolute truth. So you will take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. You'll take guidance from a bona fide spiritual master and learn from him how to connect in what's called bhakti yoga, the yoga of devotion, how to live a life of devotion. That means you're no longer caught up in the cycle of birth and death, and you can regain your original identity you once had in the spiritual world before you fell into material existence due to misuse of independence.
Right. With that being said, last thing, can you tell everybody one more time where they can find more about you and learn more about you?
You just go to www.joincourse.com, JOINCOURSE.com. And that you can get on my mailing list. You'll get something every day. You can write me questions. Plus, for our classes, you go every morning at 7:15 a.m. Central Time US to livelectures.net. Please come. We want to turn on the whole world. We have actually, our mission is to completely is to pull off a total global spiritual revolution right now to create the greatest, happiest time in the history of the universe. We're trying to pull it off right now. If people will take our instructions, we can turn this whole world into a paradise right now.
Sankarshan, thanks so much for your time. Greatly appreciate it.
It's really great to be with you, fire-breathing Rob.
Sankarshan, go ahead.
Please find me back again and again. I love it. I love you.